Hi, class. My name is Akosua Oteng. I'm here to talk about the social justice. And actually, I want to start out with my golden rule. Um, I started this counseling while I was really young, all the way back in Ghana, West Africa. And my golden rule that I started with was do unto others what you want to be done to you. This actually came about when I was 19 years old in college back home in Ghana, and we had to volunteer to this orphanage home. And that's when we started out feeding the children and the infants, the newborns. Uh, there is absolutely no food that we have about 15 children. By the time we get to maybe the ninth person, the rest will be all dead, meaning that the kids would die out of starvation. And sometimes the orphanage too have been given some donations and things. So that kind of stirred up my career into actually being a social worker, being able to advocate for children. So that's what my career actually started. And my supporting verse is actually taken from the New King James Version, and is said when Jesus would have in a sermon up in a mountain where he said, therefore, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophet. And yes, indeed, in terms of having that spiritual peace, also did encourage me, knowing that I'm doing something right and I can go out there and advocate for these children. So I stirred up my career into counseling and working with children and sometimes adult too as well. So um, yeah, that's where my career actually started. And the rule of thumb would just the golden rule is it's just simple in terms of applying it to behavior. It's like you have to it should be the guide in behavior, and that's what I tell some of the young kids is that what you want others to treat you, you have to treat them the same way. And sometimes we do that by just role playing to the children and they understanding how to appropriately interact with their peers, which actually decreases behavior. So I started my career here is actually in terms of self-care. It's really, I work as a crisis hotline, which we respond to crisis in the home. And when children are, they have to express some kind of suicidal ideation or self harm, attempt to commit suicide, and we try to prevent them from going into the hospital. So we go in there as a secondary agency that it's a grant funded program that we go out there that is of no cost to the family for us to provide some sort of help if we can in a less restrictive way, which we go to the home to do that instead of they going into the hospital. So, in terms of my self care, I really, really need it because it's really sometimes you can come out from someone's home and you just like, oh my God, why would they go to that extent to take their life when people are just back home dying of hunger? In America, we have everything and they're trying to kill themselves. So it's like something that I have to uh, just do some deep breathing. And I have this app on my phone that I use, which is the Headspace, and I meditate and sometimes I pray and I move on to the next assignment that I feel God has put me on this earth to do. So that has been my career here, and I've been an advocacy for children in terms of mental health. That in terms if they do have um, any kind of suicidal thoughts, it doesn't mean they automatically go into the hospital. And that has been my advocacy here. And hopefully, I can gain the knowledge while doing my master's to be able to take it back into my home country to help. And so I did also read about the social justice, which is, I mean, activist is when a person who wants to campaign and take action for social change. So definitely, I want to go back home and be able to bring some sort of social change to help children to be able to talk about mental health. That is not a taboo or something for you to talk about. That women and children are just going unrecognized. Their mental health is not recognized at all in my country. So that's why I took this career to be able to be back and bring change back home to my country. So I did also read about Alexandra, Kevin, and Elizabeth Doughty, which they did talk about. There's an article that they did talk about counselors and social workers. Do they advocate for something different? And of course, we all advocate for the same thing. And also in terms of the references that was given to us today. So, in all of that, I will keep on doing what I'm doing, and I know that that's my calling, and I will go on and doing what God has put me here on earth to do. So, thank you, and sorry for taking so long. I really have to give it out there. It's something that I think talking about it bring back memories, but it's something that has stirred up my career and it's motivating me to keep on going on and knowing that people are out there who don't have that help that we guys have here. So definitely that has been my motivation and I'll keep on moving forward. Thank you.